Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be making a peak card holder in absolutely stunning glazed crocodile. This is what Dream's made of. The blue is just beautiful. As you can see at the moment, I've cut out just a rough shape because I'm not going to be cutting around it by hand, around the paper pattern by hand as I normally do. I'm going to be using a universal clicker die that I had made up. I designed it so that it can be used for any of my card holders. So in this, at the moment, I'm cutting off the remainder from the top so that it fits the pattern properly for the peak, but this shape of pattern can be used for any of my card holders in any with the horizontal design pockets. I'm just about to emboss my logo. I'm just about to emboss my client's initials in it as she asked for it to be done. She's a big fan of gold, so she actually asked for it to be done in gold, which turns out so beautiful in this blue crocodile. I know it looks black, but it isn't. It's a dark blue. When you're working with crocodile, it's really important that you line it because the backing of crocodile is quite rough. It's not a pretty leather from the back. So here I'm cutting out the backing for the pockets, and I've moved on now to cutting out rough cutting the main pocket, that the sort of cash pocket, if you like. Now after cutting those out, I have to skive down the lining leather to a point where I can actually use it as a lining, because it comes from the tannery too thick. It comes from the tannery about 1.2, but to be used as lining I like it to be about 0.8. After totally gluing up the back of each item, if you like, each piece of the puzzle, I'm going to be laying them out to fully dry. You can tell when this glue is fully dry because it goes entirely transparent. So if it's white at all, in more than like a couple of percent, so it can be just a couple of spots of white, that's fine, but once it's completely transparent, it's dry, and once it's dry, it's practically indestructible if you let it sit long enough. If you let it sit for a few hours, it's pretty much indestructible. So after rolling out after I roll out each of the patterns to make sure it's completely stuck down, which you saw me just do with the brass roller, it's time to cut off the excess. Now, when you're making anything with lining, it's always good to overcut the lining, so make the lining piece bigger so that you can then cut it back and it fits perfectly onto the main outer part, if you like. Because I'm not actually stitching the top of these card holders, I don't find it necessary once you've glued it and painted it, because the paint actually acts as a bit of an adhesive as well. It means that you don't have to stitch. I mean, you could, if you wanted to be super detailed about it, you could stitch the top of them, but I don't find it necessary personally. After I've got those pieces ready, what I just did was using some silver pen, which comes off by just rubbing it. Basically, it's like a gel. I marked out where the front pocket sits on the main pocket, and the reason for that is I want to skive the back off the main pocket to keep it as thin as possible, and I don't want to skive the part that's going to be visible, because when you skive certain types of crocodile or alligator or some other exotics, it actually marks the front, and I really don't want to do that, so I've just skied the back where it won't be seen. And here I'm actually hand skiving the back off the main card slots, so that again it's the right thickness and you get a really nice padded effect for the pockets. It also keeps the edges really quite tidy if you skive them back on the back. It's back on the back, yeah, that's proper grammar. If you skive them back on the back, they sit much more nicely on the card slot, because it doesn't go from a thin where it's just 2 layers to 4 layers, and that creates quite a bump. You've gone from 2 layers to just 2 and a bit layers, if you like. I've now moved on to manually scuffing, where the front slot will meet the main pocket, and I'm doing this so that the glue actually adheres to the Crocodile, because Crocodile is notoriously difficult to glue to, especially if it's glazed. The glue will just come off it. There's nothing to penetrate. As you can see, I'm now using my leather pliers. These are by Amy Roke, these ones. They're really, really nice. I'm using these pliers to make sure that glue joint is nice and strong before I do this step, which is using a caliper to, I can't remember what these, Osborne, that's the brand of these. I'm using a caliper to mark where the stitches are. I'm now using my KS blade punch. I think this is a number 2.7, I think, something like that. It's 10 stitches per inch if you're in the UK. I think it's 2.7. I'm now gluing up the main pockets to be stuck together. Now these are they look like just one pocket, but that's, as you can see in this shot, it's the 2 double pockets stuck together. The previous shot you saw me using my KS blade punch to put the holes in. Now the reason I do that before sticking them together is to get a better line through the leather, and that's purely because when you're stitching, especially Crocodile, it's really quite hard to get your awl through. And now we've come to possibly my favourite part. It's one of the reasons I still do leather, because I find stitching really quite therapeutic. Now this is a special technique that I do. I don't know if anyone else does it. They probably do. Nothing's original these days. Where I pass those threads between the layers, and that means you can't see where it's being stuck together. You can't see where the threads have come out from. After tapping down the stitches, which is a super important step, I sanded the edges and I'm now creasing them. Not only does this put a really nice line, a very aesthetically pleasing line on it, it also squeezes those layers together once more to give it a really strong bond, and actually helps with the sanding process and the painting process. after putting the first layer of edge paint on, I actually turn my filetuse up to the highest it can go. I think it's number 9 or something. It's really bloody hot. And I essentially melt the paint into the fibers to flatten it out. Now this is a little trick I do, and please let me know if you want to learn how to do this, because I'm really happy to show you. I polish the face edge of my filetuse before I polish the edge of my piece, because if there's any remaining paint on the head of the filetuse, it won't give you a it will be harder to give you a really beautiful edge once you do this, once you polish the edge of your piece. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And if you have anything specific you want to see, don't forget to leave me a comment down below telling me exactly what that is. I'm open to suggestions. I just love making videos for you guys. So what do you guys want to see? Take care and have a great day. I'll see you soon.